Hi guys, I'm Eric, and I taught the Monday morning intro to traditional staff class. And we basically just went over the very simple basics, the figure eight, reverse figure eight, and the butterfly, and how to move with those. So we started out with the figure eight, and so to recap, what you do is you stick your hand out in front of you, and then following the top of the staff, you trace a circle on one side of your body, and then cross over to the other side and trace a circle again, always following the top of the staff. And so you keep going. And then, as you get comfortable with it, you can bring it more into the wrist, so it looks more controlled and more professional and cleaner. Then the reverse figure eight. Same thing, except you follow the bottom of the staff. And so this would be helpful at the beginning to maybe put a little bit of colored tape, different colored tape on each side, so you know which one you're talking about. So you're going to follow the bottom of the staff, up, trace the circle, and then, like the forward one, as you get better, bring it into the wrist and make it cleaner and faster and more controlled. So once you have those down, you can learn how to turn with them. And this is helpful if you're walking and you want to turn the opposite direction. You can do that. So what you do is if you're spinning in a forward figure eight and you want to turn backwards and do a reverse, because you always have to turn into the opposite of what you were doing, you wind up on your cross hand. As you unwind, do a half turn so that the bottom of the staff is now the leading part of the staff. And then you do your backwards figure eight. So from the opposite side, if I'm doing the forwards figure eight here, you tense up, wind up, quarter turn to get the staff in the right position, completely unwind and bring it around. Reverse figure eight. And you could also do, starting out with the reverse figure eight, you turn around, unwind, do the half turn, and bring it around. You can do 360s, and voila, you can move with the staff. And it's very important to always move with the direction of the staff, because if you try to turn in the opposite way, you'll hurt your wrist, you'll hurt your elbow, you'll hit yourself in the back of the head. It just won't work out. You always want to turn with the staff. Alright, so then the butterfly spin. The butterfly spin is just spinning it in one plane. And it involves two different very important hand motions. Making your butterfly and making your cocoon. The important thing is whichever direction you're spinning, if you're spinning clockwise, always keep your right hand on the bottom. And if you're spinning counterclockwise, always keep your left hand on the bottom. And the way this works is you never actually have to stop your wrists from touching, you just roll them over each other. So with the staff, you start out, thumb down, staff vertical, open up the hand, and you've got it half a butterfly. And so you just practice that. Don't be afraid to drop it. It's not really a big deal. And then you take the other one, and you start out already in half a butterfly, because this will be the second half. And then you just close it up. Spinning in the same direction. So I'm unwinding this way, and I'm also winding up this way. So once you're good at that, you start to bring it together. So you unwind, insert the hand, make the butterfly, take away the hand, wrap it up, insert the hand, make the cocoon, take away the hand, unwrap, and then keep going. And then as you get better, you don't actually have to take the hands away, and you can spin it faster, and you can spin it with a lot of control as opposed to something like that, where you don't have as much control, you don't have as much speed. This is quick, it's clean, and it's easy once you get the hang of it. So then, once you know the butterfly, you know your figure eights, and you know how to turn with them, you can turn with a butterfly using a figure eight. So if I start out butterfly clockwise wall plane, if I want to start spinning it behind me, I do a figure eight, or half a figure eight, facing my right leg. And then I unwind back, and it's behind me. And to bring it back in front of me, unwind, or wind up this way, do a reverse figure eight, and it's in front of me. So, sped up. Now, behind the back, when you're spinning it, it's not the same as a butterfly spin. It's a little more tricky, and you kind of just have to feel for what works for you. Personally, I spin it more like this, which is terrible and awful, and I wouldn't recommend it. And I normally spend only a little bit of time behind the back before I switch into something else. It's a good transition though, and it's really helpful for when you're doing things like windmills or spinning with the staff, because what you could do is spin the staff and then isolate it as you turn so that you propel it. I do it right. It's not something we covered in the class, but it's something you can work towards. Then, after we figured that was about the end of the spinning portion, and then we learned how to pick up the staff. If the staff falls, it's probably not a good idea to just bend down and pick it up. I mean, you could do that, but it's a lot more fun if you have things that can get a rise out of the crowd that they're not expecting when you drop the staff. So we covered two basic like gymnastic style ways of picking it up. The forward shoulder roll, where the hand that you roll over grabs the staff as you come up, and then the cartwheel pickup, where the second hand picks up the staff as you go over it. And then we learned a couple foot pickups. We learned the basic one, you just pick it up. We learned Blake's favorite, kick up and then toss it vertically in the air to get a big fireball. And we learned Blake's other favorite, horizontal kick up, where you have to lean back in order to keep it in the same position, but it goes up really high and makes a big fireball. And then we learned the juggler's kick up that they use for their clubs, where you place it your foot about 1/4 of the way up the staff so that the majority of the staff is off to the right or to the left, depending on which leg you're using. And you raise your foot up, brace it in between your foot and your knee, and then just push. And then you can just go into whatever you're spinning. Alright, so those are the basic building blocks. Check the Wildfire Facebook page for the Google Doc that I put up. And thanks.